It's a beautiful day here in West London, and as you can hear, a Singapore Airlines Super Jumbo A380 departs behind me. A long 13-hour flight for that plane, but we're not going anywhere. Well, not far anyways. It's a beautiful Saturday here in West London near Heathrow Airport, and today we're based in the capital for FA Cup Round 4 weekend, or at least a Saturday. We've got a few games to cover today, and we'll be visiting a couple of sites in London, so it should be good. I'll talk more in a bit. Well, it's hard to make out, but that object moving towards the top of the shot is that Singapore A380 that is now airborne over Berkshire, soon to turn right and head over the North Sea on its eventual trip to the Far East. Well, it's midday, and I'm just at Heathrow's tube station, or one of them at least, waiting for a train into the city. We're only spending 4 or 5 hours in London today, and we're getting a train back up north this evening. We'll bring the 3 o'clock games and some of the lunchtime kick-off as well. Stoke City versus Man City in the FA Cup 4th round is a lunchtime game. We'll bring you some of that, and some of whatever is on 5 Live at 3 o'clock. Okay, that's the situation. Well, here we are, now in central London, just outside one of the most famous department stores in the world, Harrods. And the lunchtime kick-off in this FA Cup 4th round is Stoke City versus Man City. It's 1 o'clock, 15 minutes have gone, it's still goalless. We just missed the first quarter of an hour because we was on the train, on the tube, and nothing's happened so far. And I'll talk more in a minute. We're going to head to Hyde Park, which is just 5 minutes behind me. Well, it's actually ahead of me, 5 minutes behind you. Let's go there. So we've got the Harrods building just there. However, there's a tube station. We're heading this way for the time being. Yeah, sadly, we're not rich enough to shop in Harrods. Might browse in there later on, but I certainly won't be buying anything. So, 20 minutes gone. Stoke have started pretty well, but no real chances as of yet. Well, since I'll be listening to it. What matters though is that it's still 0-0. By the way, I should clarify, this is the second game of this week's FA Cup Round 4 fixtures, and there's already been a shock as Aston Villa's misery continued with a late defeat 2-1 away to Millwall on Friday night last night. I was in my West London hotel listening to that game, which was taking place from South East London, and the Championship side dumped out Villa. So 1 cup shot, and surely more to come. Yeah, we're crossing here. Yeah, let's try and get past the tourists. very, very busy as always. A Saturday in January, what do you expect? 25 or so minutes gone. Still waiting for the first goal at the Britannia Stadium, which perhaps is unsurprising, especially as Man City have the best defence in the Premier League as well. Well, as we enter Hyde Park, Man City have just had the best chance of the game. Around half an hour gone, they've hit the post from David Silva. I think it was from a free kick direct. The champions moving up a few gears in recent minutes, but it's still 0-0. Well, for anyone that knows Hyde Park well, they'll know that it's an absolutely enormous park, especially when on foot. And here's a map of it. Not that that's very significant. We're pretty much towards the southeastern corner of the park at the moment. Yeah, you can see all them roundels towards the bottom right corner. You can see the word Knightsbridge, that's where we are. And this is an example of the cycle hire scheme that London now has. And as you can see, it's very popular. Let's walk past them. Still quite a lot of bikes available for hire. For London, it's a great city where there's always something happening. Well, the only problem with this park is, where do you start? Because it really is enormous. It's probably one of the biggest public parks you'll ever encounter. I mean, you've got all that straight ahead, miles and miles down there, and then even more down there. Anyways, we'll go straight ahead by default. Yeah, that's another British Airways 747. Well, we thought we might as well add it into the video. And this is, of course, the Serpentine Lake, which I believe hosted the beginning of the triathlon during the Summer Olympics last year. Yeah, it's so big that we haven't got time to walk around it, but we might just walk. Well, maybe we do have time. Let's go. We'll see what happens. Well, even I didn't know this, but here is inscribed the history of the Serpentine in a nutshell. There you are. Yeah. Well, we're now on the approach to half-time, and Stoke put the ball in the net a few minutes ago. However, it was ruled out. Jonathan Walters denied by the officials. I'm not sure why. Let's hope for Stoke's sake he doesn't have a game as bad as he did against Chelsea, where he scored 2 own goals and missed a penalty. Also, Company seems to be injured. He's gone off for Man City, and Clichy's come on. Anyhow, we're just entering 1 minute of stoppage time. And whilst the final seconds of the first half dwindle away, I might as well show you the Serpentine close up. Well, relatively anyways. Yeah, I'm going to vow to visit here next season in more detail, but this will be our only visit here with the football videos this year. Beautiful, beautiful. Little lakeside cafe there towards the right. It's all good. Okay, it is now half time, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit off on a bench behind me and have a drink and a bite to eat, and then in the second half I've got to head out the park. But it is goals at half time in this FA Cup tie. Stoke 0, Man City 0. Will the curious ones think I've got food for them? I'm sorry to tell you this, fellas, but I ain't. Good luck anyways. Okay, the second half is underway. It remains 0-0 with just a few minutes gone. We're now heading out the way we came and back towards Knightsbridge. I didn't expect this to be a particularly high scoring game, and I've been proven right so far. And yeah, actually I think we'll turn right here. Might as well. So Millwall are the only team so far to have reached the 5th round. And Man City or Stoke could become the second club. We'll find out over the next 45 minutes who it will be. Unless, of course, it's a replay, which it may well be. I would not put a 0-0 beyond Stoke or Man City right now. Two players clash with each other. And to quote James Bond movies, they were both shaken but not stirred. And if you're wondering, for anyone that cares, and is wondering why I was at Heathrow last night in a hotel, well, not flown in from anywhere, nor am I flying out anywhere. We have some friends that live just around the corner from that hotel in Harlington, just north of Heathrow. That's also why we were at Heathrow in October, and if we do any other videos around this area, the Heathrow area, it'll be the same reason. Still 0-0 at a not quite sold out Britannia. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Well, the match continues to follow the same sort of pattern. Man City the better, but neither team look like scoring really. As we pass the Kuwaiti embassy. At least I assume that's what it is. And another long haul wide bodied jet on final approach to Heathrow, just ahead of us. But when I say ahead of us, I mean several miles ahead of us in the sky. The camera might not have quite caught it, but I saw it. And as for Kuwait, the fact of the matter is we need to cross the road, as it's just left at that wide junction ahead. In fact, you can see the roundel on the building. That's where Knightsbridge station is. Okay. Nearly an hour gone here. And this game needs a goal quickly. It's one of those, oh, it has 0-0 written all over it type matches at the moment. Still time yet though. As we approach Harrods once again. There it is in the distance. An iconic, distinctive building as another plane on ascent to Heathrow, descent to Heathrow, flies overhead it. Well, we're now an hour through in this match. And I'm supposed to be meeting someone here, just outside Harrods in a minute. And basically what the plan is that I'll be missing the last half an hour of the game because I'll be on the tube travelling across London. By the way it's going, I'm probably not going to miss any goals. If I do, never mind. It'll only be one goal, let's be honest. So half an hour left and I'll bring you a full-time report of this. Despite no goals though, it's still been interesting to listen to, hasn't it? Well, as you can see, we're at White City Tube Station now, and it's 3 o'clock, and the 3 o'clock games have just got underway. There's a whole bunch of games in the FA Cup. And a programme of league games in the Football League too, with only a few cancellations because of the weather. Anyway, let's go. So, we've gone from Heathrow in West London to Knightsbridge in central London, and now we're in White City back in West London. And like with the early kick-off, we're only going to be around this area for some of the 3 o'clock action, and then we're heading back into central London for the second half and getting a train up north from Euston just after 5 p.m. Well, this vibrant part of West London is where BBC Television Centre is, of course. You might be able to see the BBC logo on that white building to the right. But it's a football afternoon, and keep listening because you might hear the sound of football fans. And as part of my commitment to visit as many Premier League grounds as possible, we're on our way to Loftus Road, the home of QPR. A great little club, and I hope they avoid relegation. They're in trouble at the moment, and they're in trouble today because they're already losing 1-0 at home to MK Dons in their tie, apparently. Yeah. Can't remember the name of the player that scored it, but MK Dons within a few minutes, within 3 minutes in fact, winning away at QPR in this tie between Premier League and League One. And we're listening to 5 Live, where there was also a goal earlier on. Conference side Macclesfield versus Wigan of the Premier League, and Wigan took the lead through a penalty early on. So they're doing alright, but not QPR. And Reading, another team fighting to stay up in the Premier League, are winning themselves through Noel Hunt. And we're up to date, 10 minutes in. Well, as we walk in a southwesterly direction towards the setting sun, you can still see a few QPR fans that haven't got there yet. And it's just as well with the score 0-1 to the visitors. Yep, Harry Redknapp now in charge of this team, this club. Well, I don't know what minute Man City won it. It was in the last half an hour at some point. But Zabaleta was the player, I've just heard. Yeah, Stoke 0, Man City 1, confirmed. So after listening to an hour of no goals, we missed the 1 goal at the end, which I knew would happen. We're now at the front facade of this famous old ground, the North Stand this is, and you can see a bit of the East Stand just over there. You know how much I like London, and West London is always great. I had a good afternoon, remember, just outside Stamford Bridge at Brompton Cemetery a few months ago. All the same here. The weather's great too for this time of year, so no complaints. I think I might cross the road in a minute. Nah, never mind. It sounds like there might have been a goal. Certainly some sort of dramatic action, I'm not sure which. In any case, we're here outside the ground of Premier League Queen's Park Rangers. This is Loftus Road. And although they're losing this FA Cup tie at the moment, let's hope that the Hoops can turn it round. So we're going to walk around a few more streets of this part of West London near the ground until half time, then get the tube after that. Listen to this. A chorus of "Come on you R's" there. Come on you Irons for me personally. And now a pair of Premier League teams winning away at Championship sides. Arsenal winning at Brighton through Giroud, and Pienaar's given Everton the lead at Bolton. And is that a goal? I just heard the crowd roar again at Loftus Road. Well, yet another plane on approach to Heathrow. You can probably see it this time, up in the clouds. In this busy part of West London. So yes, we're going to cross the road here. Bloemfontein Road. More South African influence in this area. Well, as it happens, we can't get QPR Milton Keynes on the radio, but we've just heard a report from there. Traore, the left-back, forced to save out the MK Dons keeper, but it's still 1-0 to the visitors. And yes, it's also 1-0 between Macclesfield and Wigan to the away team in what we're listening to. Well, yesterday I had a sticky toffee pudding, and Everton are sticky toffee at the moment because Bolton have equalised against them. It's 1-1. Now, as we walk through this relatively quieter neighbourhood, we're entering this park. Again, I've never been here, but I found it via Multimap. Wormholt Park it's called. Absolutely tiny compared to Hyde Park where I was earlier. And this is it, yeah. Small play area. Basketball, tennis courts, whatever. And path over here, which is where I'm going to go for a bit. Yeah, time's against us. Always seems to be when we're in London. Just too many places to go, too little time to do it in. And that's why it is one of the best cities in the world. Well, we're only going to spend a few minutes in the park, as I've got to get to another tube station, not White City, a different one, as I'm taking the Circle line towards north central London at the end of this half. So a few minutes in here, and then as we approach the end of this first half, we will head to the Underground. As I'll say, very much like Stamford Bridge, it's a wonderful atmosphere here, and I vow to visit here again and take my time a bit more next season. What I would do is I would choose a Premier League home game for QPR as opposed to FA Cup, and I would spend the whole game in this area, probably most of it in this park actually, listening to all the action. Well, Macclesfield have played well in this game. Macclesfield are playing very well in this game, despite being 4 divisions below the Letics. It was only a penalty that gave the Premier League side the lead. And Macclesfield have probably had more of the chances since. Brighton Arsenal has just been a second goal. Remember, Everton came stuck with an equaliser, conceded against Bolton. Well, Arsenal suffered the same. Brighton are level, the team that dumped Newcastle out in the third round there, have now equalised from Ashley Barnes from 2 yards out. The Gunners pegged back, it's 1-1. Very tranquil. And that's what you get in a lot of parts of London. Although it's so busy with so many people overall, especially in the city centre. There's a lot of nice quiet neighbourhoods and so many parks, canal walks and all that sort of thing. It's not just a big load of smoke that most people think. And I'm not the only one filming this afternoon, as you can see. Well, the clock is ticking, so we're heading out the park. Wigan nearly went 2 up then, but it remains 1-0 in that game. To be fair, we are a good few hundred metres from the ground, and with a capacity of 18,000, it's not in the same ballpark as some of those other Premier League stadiums. The point is, you can't hear all the fans and all the action quite like you can in other places like Stamford Bridge and Anfield and Goodison Park, which have already proven this season. I reckon for a Premier League game, waiting in the southeast corner of the park nearest the ground, we could hear some of the action. So as I say, we will try it in the future at some point. A big penalty shout from Macclesfield there. The referee waves it away though. About 6 minutes till half time, I think now. Well, we didn't hear anything, but there's been a second goal over there at Loftus Road, and I'm afraid it's bad news for QPR. They're in deeper trouble. They're 2-0 down at home to League One MK Dons, and they've got the champions of England in the Premier League in a few days over there. I feel for QPR, but all they care about ultimately is getting out of trouble, which I still think they've got a realistic chance of doing. Well, Reading took the lead around the time QPR conceded, and Reading have gone 2 up around the time QPR have gone 2 down. Reading 2 up against Sheffield United in another FA Cup tie. Well, we're now walking along the south side of the ground. However, there's houses that completely surround 3 sides of the stadium, so we're not walking next to the stand, but it's just to the left of us. You can see a bit of the floodlight at the top corner there, one of the corners. Well, pardon the noise, but I'm just going to show you one of the south entrances into the stadium. Just literally through there, you can see some of the stadium. Just 2 or 3 minutes till half time. Well, it was good to see Loftus Road, although things not quite going the way QPR fans would have hoped. And trust me, I really do want QPR to stay up, because providing they do, I will visit the ground properly next season. Well, I mean, today was a proper visit, but I'll visit it with even more detail next year. I might yet do it this month in April, this season. We'll see. I have made 3 London visits so far this season, and there will be one more in April, I'm thinking it is, when I'll spend a couple of days down here. And if I get the chance, I'll visit QPR then. Whether it's a match day or a non-match day, doesn't matter to me. It's good either way, isn't it? And that is yet another plane headed for Heathrow. And here's our train. By the way, just before we get on, we are at Shepherd's Bush Market Station. That's the one I was trying to think of. Big satellite there, part of BBC Television Centre. There's the London Underground roundel. And classic 3-storey terrace housing in London. It's half time, we're getting the train. See you in a bit. Well, I've just got off at Great Portland Street. Around an hour gone in the 3 o'clock games. It's 4:15. And we're a mile away from Euston Station, which is where I'm basically going to walk to along Euston Road during the second half. It's still Macclesfield 0, Wigan 1 in the game we'll listen to. There's been goals elsewhere, and as soon as we know them, we'll tell you. Arsenal have just retaken the lead at Brighton. It's Brighton 1, Arsenal 2. And I'm going to cross the road now while I've got the chance. Well, that guy looks happy. Probably because he knows Arsenal were 2 up against Brighton, 2-1 up, should I say. By the way, this is Regent's Park we're entering. Well, we're coming up to it now. That guy's in a hurry. There we are, avoiding the traffic. It's been freezing cold this week, but it's milder today, and the thaw is on. And that snow will probably be gone by tomorrow. Anyways, Macclesfield are threatening an equaliser. Anyways, let's stop for a moment. Well, this is Regent's Park that I'm in now. However, I've only got 45 minutes until my train is due. I'm only 15 minutes from Euston, but I've got to get moving. I will come here in the future though, at some point. Unlike Hyde Park, it's a wonderful place, it really is. It's not as big as Hyde Park. Hyde Park is the biggest, but it's still great. I'm now going to begin my journey back to Euston, and I'll give you score updates along the way, including one I've just heard that, well, I couldn't believe it when I heard it. There's a ridiculous scoreline out there. I hate to say it for one team. Anyways, let's get going, okay? Well, Derby Blackburn is an all-championship affair. It was 1-0 to the visitors at half-time, but Blackburn have just gone 2 up at Pride Park. Speaking of park, let me just show you the Regent's Park map before we leave. That's what it looks like. And we're in pretty much the southeastern corner of what you can see. It's a big park. And Primrose Hill at the top there as well. Anyway, let's go. We must be off. Well, some other schools I've heard. Reading 4 up against Sheffield United. They're going to be in the 5th round of the FA Cup. But QPR will not. Not just the fact that they won't, but listen to this. QPR 0, MK Dons 4. Our visit to Loftus Road has not blessed them and it seems that they've fallen to pieces even more in the second half. Couldn't believe it when I heard it. A bad day for QPR, but let's hope they can pick themselves up for the relegation fight. So we're turning left here and making our way back to Euston. Any more goals I hear about or scores that I didn't know about, I'll inform you because I'll tell you. So now onto the ring road and I'll speak to you in a bit. Well, it's 4:45 and there's just a few minutes left of these FA Cup games, and I'm going to bring you all the scores that I know of, starting with Everton that have just won it away at Bolton. They're going to go through 2-1. Arsenal are 3-2 over Brighton. They've gone ahead for the third time. Can they hold on? But the most incredible one of all, Norwich of the Premier League 0, Luton of the Conference 1. Despite being bad, they've held on. They've stolen a goal and they're going through as it stands. And that's it. That's the final whistle. They've done it. Congratulations to Luton. The magic of the FA Cup is alive. The first time in nearly 30 years that's happened. We think QPR have got one back against Milton Keynes, so 1-4 there. But another incredible score. Middlesbrough, the Championship, were 1-0 up. Leeds to Aldershot have equalised in the last minute. What an incredible afternoon. So Euston Station almost there. It's well into the evening now, and we finally made it back. A smooth and quick journey on the train, taking me from central London to my front door in just 2 hours and 40 minutes. A very impressive run, even by the West Coast Main Line standards. So, in summary of today's results, it did finish Macclesfield 0, Wigan 1 in the game that I listened to. The other results, I'll quickly run through them, included Millwall 2, Aston Villa 1 from last night. There was Stoke Man City this lunchtime, which was Stoke 0, Man City 1. And all the 3 o'clocks in the FA Cup were as follows. Hull 0, Barnsley 1. Norwich 0, Luton 1. Brighton 2, Arsenal 3. QPR 2, MK Dons 4. Reading 4, Sheffield United 0. Then it was Huddersfield 1, Leicester 1. The only game that's gone to a replay, if I'm not mistaken. And the Macclesfield Wigan game, of course, which was 0-1. And there were 1 or 2 others, which I can't remember. Oh yes, Bolton 1, Everton 2. And I apologise if I missed any out. But I think that was all of them. Oh, and just before we go, there is one more thing that I'd like to say. Feliz aniversario ao José Mourinho. 50 anos. Yeah, the special one, José Mourinho, is 50 years old today. It's his 50th birthday. And as one of the greatest football coaches in the world in this present day, I thought I'd just mention it on a whim. There you go. And hopefully he will return to the Premier League one day. But he's not with us at the moment. And that's all that matters.